Oh my goodness gracious, you guys. Wow. So I am under the gun again. The exact same gun I was under yesterday when I did my stream about RFK getting confirmed. I would say this is equally exciting as RFK getting confirmed. Because Trump just cut all federal funding to schools that mandate COVID vaccines. Okay. Trump, COVID vaccine mandates. Hang on. I just jumped on so fast. Look at this, dude. Look at this. Look at this absolute thing of beauty. Boom. Trump bars federal funding to schools with COVID vaccine mandates. Hey, how's that taste, guys? So, as I was saying yesterday, right? It's literally like I live in a parallel universe where I just I cannot believe this is all happening. Like I can't believe it. It's like in the best possible case scenario, I absolutely never imagined that this could happen, that Trump would win, that RFK would get confirmed, that within a couple weeks, like you guys understand this. Okay. So I'm going to do this in order. Okay. I'm going to try to organize my thoughts and do this in order. Okay. So number one, Trump nominates RFK to run the HHS, which we learned yesterday has a $1.7 trillion annual budget. It's 25% of the entire United States national annual budget. Okay. And now RFK sits on top of all of that. RFK, who prior to Trump winning was supposedly some fringe character who had crazy ideas about, the efficacy of vaccines and all other kinds. They spent so much time and money trying to smear that guy that's where he's at. And now he went from that to sitting on top of a $1.7 trillion budget dedicated to what? The health and safety of the United States citizenship. Okay. And guess who his number one targets are? Pharmaceutical companies, chemical, like the chemicals in the foods, all that stuff. But right out of the gate, what do you think is going to get targeted first? What's first thing after these guys trampled on our rights, literally created a post-civilization nightmarish hellscape where if they would have successfully done what they were trying to do, and there's no conversation here, okay? Like what they were trying to do during the pandemic, like what they tried to do with the pandemic, if they would have succeeded, is they wanted us to all have digital IDs where they could verify whether or not we were up to speed on our vaccines. They wanted to do the China social credit score stuff. They wanted to do all of that because they wanted to lock down the populace. Whatever their reasoning was, that's where their end game was. Okay. You just like during the pandemic where we walk in, oh, can we come in this restaurant? I don't know. Do you have your Vax card? Okay. Now, juking a Vax card was easy enough for a restaurant. How about a job, dude? How about a job? Okay. They wanted you, they fired 30, 40, anywhere between 35 and 70,000 healthcare workers. Okay. Healthcare workers in New York State, just New York State. Okay. Visualize a packed NFL stadium and it's full of nothing but, supposedly heroic healthcare workers, and they terminated all of them, gave them no with no fanfare, no severance, just you won't get the shot, you're gone. Left them to fend for themselves with no money and no job. Painted them with the scarlet letter and all that. Like what they did was inexcusable. Okay. In our case, if you don't know our story, if you're new to the channel, our story, the reason why we're so hard on this side is because our oldest got hurt by a shot when she was a kid. Like her first set of shots, she got hurt. We went and got like genetic testing, all this stuff. And the doctor was like, your family is high risk. You should not give your kids the shots. Any of these states that have mandatory vaccination schedules for going to school. I'm not even talking about COVID. I'm talking just pure like vaccine schedules, right? The reason that they say that they need to have them is because not all kids can get vaccinated. So they need to get herd immunity to protect the kids whose immune systems are compromised or whatever. For whatever reason, they can't get vaccinated, right? That's the reasoning. Okay. Hey, definitely not because the pharmaceutical companies have lobbied their way in to mandate that kids are mandated to take like 70 shots, dude. 70 shots. Okay. Like when people are like, listen, man, you got to protect the community. That's what it's about. You're like, right. But you're talking about a concept and you have no idea how this is actually being implemented. Like, yeah, I understand conceptually, to protect the community. I am personally in the camp of, is it better to have, vaccines than not have vaccines? Yeah, I think it's better to have vaccines. Okay. Some people would disagree with me, whatever. It's not even about that. But I am all the way on personal choice. Like that's just whatever. And if your vaccines work like they say they do, then what are you talking about? What are you worried about? What do you need to mandate them for? People can't take risks for themselves. Like people can't assess their own risk and they do. So in our case, we were the people that supposedly you need to mandate it for everyone else to protect, right? Like, of course, like that makes sense, I guess, right? And then guess what? California passed legislation SB 277, which made it to where it didn't matter if you had a medical exemption. They already had a 97% vaccination rate, like 97%. Okay. You think that's enough for herd immunity? Yes, 100% enough for herd immunity. But you had these people in government who are A, bought and paid for by pharmaceutical companies, and B, were also hysterical, like propagandized lunatics. Like they had taken in all of the propaganda that we talked about yesterday. And so they like really believe that anybody who doesn't want to take the shots is some kind of like radical kook. And so they think that they are better than people. They don't think that you should have a choice. And so they pass the stuff to take away they invalidated medical exemptions, dude. They invalidated medical exemptions. So they put my fucking family in a position where we had to either give them 70 shots each against the direction of a doctor who said like, and when it goes bad with vaccines, it goes real fucking bad, dude. Real bad. And they're like, yeah, you can either do that or you can leave the state because your kids can't go to school here. And so we left the state. So this shit is about as personal as there is in American politics for us. Okay. And so now with that established, like now Trump and RFK, like you have to understand, you have like two things happening here. First thing is they need to get RFK confirmed. Once RFK is confirmed, now they can start working, right? It's like now they can start working. RFK gets confirmed yesterday, first fucking day. Oh, you guys want your federal money, dude? All you colleges, you like your federal grants, oh, you like that program where you're getting money? How about none? Hey, I have an idea. Why don't you itemize all the things that we give you money for that you enjoy? Oh, that's a nice list. How about none? How about fucking none? How's that taste, dude? Okay. Because the days of you forcing and the colleges, are you fucking kidding me? The colleges. Okay. Achilles, thank you very much for the super chat. Appreciate you very much, dude. The colleges. Okay, what's the one side effect that no one is disputing at all about the COVID vax? Okay, like there's a million stories, right? I have to be very careful about how I talk about this particular topic because you can't say like they do this unless it's kind of like agreed upon information. And guess what? Hey, there's one side effect that no one is arguing. Okay, and that is that the COVID vaccine is a high risk or I guess they would say there is a risk of myocarditis, especially in boys who are college age. Okay. Now, can anyone go through the likelihood that a college age kid is going to have a serious adverse case of COVID right now? Okay. Like Have you heard of any kids being hospitalized from COVID or like, I mean, do I even need to have this conversation? Okay. Like the risk of COVID for kids that age is fucking very, if there is any, let's say hypothetically, I was having this conversation not on this platform, I would say fucking zero, right? But obviously that would be hyperbole because I guess maybe there is something if someone has comorbidity, whatever. But the bottom line is to mandate all of those kids to risk getting myocarditis to protect them against fucking COVID right now. How could you possibly defend that if it's not absolute stone corruption driven by pharmaceutical propaganda and all kinds of weird backdoor deals that these people did? It's indefensible. It's indefensible. Okay. And so now, Trump and RFK, they're like, hey, I have an idea, you guys like that money? Oh, you guys like, oh, you like that money? No. There's your money over there. Okay. Like, do you have any idea how many American colleges were still mandating the COVID vaccine? As a matter of fact, I'm going to Google that, dude. So let's see. How many American colleges mandated COVID vaccine? Let's see. What colleges require the COVID vaccine? Let's see here. As spring 2025, full list of colleges requiring in California, requiring COVID-19 vaccine. Cal Poly, of course. Dominguez Hills, Mount St. Mary's, University of San Francisco. This is all of them? Yeah, right. Oberlin. My dad went to fucking Oberlin. There is no way that these are the only ones that still require. That doesn't. Oh, I'm sorry. This is in 2023. What the fuck? Okay, I don't even know what this means. This is a weird ass article. Whatever. Anyway, you guys know a lot of them do. So let's read this. Okay, so Trump bars federal funding to schools with COVID vaccine mandates. The order applies to students and not to teachers or staff. President Donald Trump on Friday signed an executive order that would strip schools of federal aid if they mandate COVID vaccines, a pool report said. A largely symbolic move considering that no states currently require them. What the fuck are you talking about? In a fact sheet provided to reporters, the White House said the order was necessary because COVID vaccine mandates were threatening educational opportunities for students. Parents are being forced into a difficult position, comply with a controversial mandate, or risk their child's education future. Yeah. You want to know what that means? Hey, you want to know what this actually is? First step. First step, dude. The day after RFK got confirmed. Trump's directive also calls on the HHS Secretary RFK and the incoming Education Secretary to provide a plan to end the coercive COVID-19 vaccine mandates. So that means for public school, like regular public schools too. Wait a minute. This says no states currently require them. Does California mandate COVID vaccines for school? California health officials remind parents that some vaccines are still required before the new some vaccines. That's fucking hilarious, dude. Before the new school year, California Department of Health vaccines for COVID-19 are not required in public schools, but California law requires students to receive other immunizations. Other ones. They're all like every single other one ever. That is so funny. They're like, there are some other ones. It's like, you mean all of them? You mean every single fucking one? Those look absolutely fabulous. Thank you. Are they bedazzled? Do they come in men's? Love the content, dude. Keep it up. Hey, Gabrielle got hers. She wanted us to get fucking matching ones, dude. So, listen. Happy wife, happy life, as it were. I mean, do you want to look here? Look at this. Watch this. What vaccines are required for school in California? Let's see. Okay. So 5 doses of DTaP, which is diphtheria, tetanus, pertussis, 4 doses of polio, hepatitis, 3 doses, measles, mumps, rubella, 2 doses, chickenpox, 2 doses, pertussis, at least 1 dose on the 7th birthday. Oh, that's interesting. That's funny. Oh, that's hilarious. Get a medical exemption. That's funny. That's really, really funny. Hey, guess how you have to get a medical exemption in California? Get a medical exemption. So you know how they're like, oh yeah, get a medical exemption. I told you they invalidated them. Hey, you want to know how you get one? You go through the fucking state. Okay. If you get one from a doctor, they're all, no, actually, we're definitely not going to. No, that's not good enough. You have to get it through the state. You're all, what? Armed Forces drops mandate, recruitment skyrocketed. Yeah, of course. Well, what's up, Brian Chumbler? How are you, sir? My God. I cannot even explain to you like what this is like, man. It's just like, it is just the absolute best thing that could have ever. I still cannot believe that this is the version of the world that we live in right now. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I just can't believe it. I cannot believe it. And any of you guys who seriously think that Fauci is in the clear. I mean, I know we talked about this yesterday, but I am going to continue to talk about this, that Fauci and Gates and these guys who were involved in all these things, like if you think that they're safe, I just want to reiterate, like if you have not ever seen this, okay. Hang on. Real Anthony Fauci synopsis. Let's see if we can find one, dude. Oops. All right. Can you guys see? Okay, look. So the Real Anthony Fauci book written by RFK, who currently sits on top of a $1.7 trillion annual budget at the HHS. The Real Anthony Fauci is a 2021 book, RFK, which he denounces Anthony Fauci and his leadership of the National Institute of Allergy, Infectious, yada, yada. Kennedy promotes HIV and AIDS denialism. And this is amazing because this is Wikipedia's version, right? It's like, this is the version of like the old regime that's out. I saw the Atlantic wrote an article that says that's like that Trump and Elon are instituting regime change. That's correct. Like that's 100% correct. That is exactly what you're looking at. Misinformation about Fauci's role during the HIV epidemic. You guys realize that they actually made a movie called The Dallas Buyers Club, okay, about these AIDS patients who were dying and they had to like do all kinds of crazy stuff to get the medicine they needed because Fauci had made it impossible for them to get it. That's what that movie's about. And it's based in 100% real story. In response, Fauci called the book unfortunate and characterized Kennedy as a very disturbed individual. Oh man, those days are over, bud. You know, he's a very disturbed individual. You're like, wow, well, he's a very powerful person, dude. Hey, he's very powerful and also very disturbed at the same time. Must be scary to be a guy that he dedicated all this fucking time researching to. You know what I mean? Of a meeting he had with Kennedy to discuss vaccines early in his tenure in the Trump administration, Fauci would later recall, I don't know what's going on in Kennedy's head, but it's not good. Synopsis. The book accuses the American public health leader, Anthony Fauci, of 30 years of abuse of power during both the HIV and COVID-19 epidemics. In the book, Kennedy accuses Fauci of pulling off a historic coup d'etat against Western democracy. Okay? You think they're not coming for fucking Fauci, dude? Hey, you guys think they're not coming for Fauci? RFK, $1.7 trillion annual budget, accuses Fauci of pulling off a historic coup d'etat against Western democracy and promotes unproven COVID-19 treatments like hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin. That's hilarious, dude. Hey, I wonder why they were never tested and either proven or disproven in the United States. You know, it seems like with all that money, someone could have tested them and either proven or disproven them in the United States. Seems like they did that a lot overseas, did a lot of testing overseas. You know, I've read that they had good results, but for some reason, it's almost as if two very powerful people in the private sector and in the public sector, Anthony Fauci and Bill Gates, made sure that no one would ever test those things. Kind of how no one's ever really tested to confirm whether or not autism is caused by vaccines. I'm not saying they are. I'm just saying I have personally witnessed people under oath who are the ones who say that they've proven that autism is not caused by vaccines. I've seen them say recently that they have absolutely no science to say one way or the other. So it's almost like they do that on purpose. The author shares his opinion that COVID-19 vaccines are not sufficiently safety tested. His opinion? His opinion? Why would they have needed an emergency use authorization if they had been sufficiently tested? Like, what? That's what an emergency use authorization means, is they did not go through the full safety testing, as far as I understand it. Likens vaccine mandates in the United States to living under the rule of Nazi Germany. Hey, now he's in charge. The book accuses Fauci of deliberately neglecting to use hydroxychloroquine in order to increase the number of people who would die from COVID-19. Studies show the drug is ineffective against COVID-19. Really? Is that true? The WHO recommends it not be used for treating or prevent. Wait, so Fauci, hold on. Okay, so okay, let's see if there's a consistent thing here. Fauci says, sorry. The studies say it's ineffective against COVID-19, studies that go, and then the WHO, which is Bill Gates, recommends it not be used for treating or preventing COVID, huh? And what reason would they have for all that? Why would they want to do that? Probably unrelated to the many ways that they were printing money off of this thing and wanted to jam it down the vaccine hole, and you know what I mean. Kennedy also lambasts the science of AIDS, spending over 100 pages quoting HIV denialists such as Peter Duesberg, and questioned the role of HIV in the ideology of AIDS. Kennedy refers to the orthodoxy that HIV alone causes AIDS and the theology that HIV is the sole cause of AIDS, as well as repeating the HIV/AIDS denialism claim that no one has isolated the HIV particle and no one has been able to point to a study that demonstrates their hypothesis using accepted scientific proofs. The scientific consensus is that the evidence showing HIV to be the cause of AIDS is conclusive. Okay, yeah, again, this is what he's talking. The scientific consensus, according to who? Okay, how the fuck would I know whether HIV causes AIDS? You know what I mean? How would I know? But anyway, so just to reiterate, the author of this book is now on top of the entire apparatus. So you're goddamn right. That is fucking regime change. That is 100% regime change. And here's the other thing, right? Here's the other thing. When people call RFK anti-vax, it's absolutely hilarious because he's been so consistent on this. He's like, it's not that he's anti-vaccine. He's saying that the current setup that we have promotes unsafe vaccines because, and I definitely could say this on YouTube because it's an absolute fact, the pharmaceutical companies have indemnity from getting sued when vaccines injure people. Okay. You go to a secret court where you get paid out by the taxpayers and you sign a non-disclosure agreement. Okay. Like that's what happens. The pharmaceutical companies got that law passed. And so they have absolutely no financial or corporate incentive whatsoever to make the vaccine safe. They have the incentive to make them cheap, and they have the incentive to, lobby to where they mandate as many of them as possible. Do you guys know the hepatitis B vaccine is mandated for kids and they give it to them when they're babies? Here, why don't you do this? Ready? How can I contract hepatitis B? Let's just see. So blood contact, so sharing needles, sexual contact, mother to child transmission during childbirth if the mother is infected, which you would obviously know if the mother had it already, tattooing or body piercing, accidental needle sticks, okay, So you've got sharing needles. You guys know a lot of babies that share needles. Okay. Sexual contact. You guys know a lot of babies that need to be protected from that. Okay. Mother to child transmission. Sure. Except you're going to know if the mother has it. So you obviously don't need to give the kid a shot because you would know if the mother had it. Tattooing, body piercing. Also something I don't think a lot of babies have. So why would why is it part of the vaccine schedule to give it a Hep B shot to a baby? Run me through that. What? It's time to go? Oh, I got to go, you guys. Love you guys. Bye, 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 bye. Subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell. Bye-bye.